Radio.
You know what it is, rumncokeradio, each and every Tuesday right here. Myself, this short one. We got Dizzy Day.
Hey.
We got Miss Holiday.
Yo.
Shout out to Rae Diamendz for holding it down. Shout out to everybody who did the little hop, skip, jump, whatever we had to do. The technology's an asshole these days, but you make it do.
Yeah,
and,
that was a tricky one still.
Yeah, and Dizzy, do the honors of introducing our big guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's make a whole lot of noise for our very special guest, Black-owned, holding it down for the peoples. Beautiful black ladies too at that. You guys, you always can't get it twisted. Make some noise for Faven, KushKlub.
Hey. Happy to be here.
How you doing?
Doing good. Some amazing tunes.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, it was amazing. I was listening on my phone, but I could hear it on the store floor too. So
hey, thank you.
Yeah.
So we got Faven from KushKlub here. You said you're going live out there, eh?
Yeah. Live, loud, and proud. I can hear my voice like echoed into the store.
Sick.
Nice.
It's kind of daunting.
Maybe get some new listeners for rumncokeradio.
That's what's up.
Anytime.
Man, we want to really thank you for coming down. And I would love to say you've paved a good path that you've been doing. The most humble person I really think I've seen holding down in the weed industry out here, or just in the cannabis industry out here. Not only that, you're a black woman that's doing it. I mean, it's just so many questions, but I'm not the one to ask them. Miss Holiday.
Yeah, get it from the YYC.
All right.
Hey. Yeah, so, thanks to the guys for inviting you. I personally haven't had a chance. I've done a little bit of my research, but for all of the people who don't know who you are, what you're about, exactly what you're putting on for the city, please introduce yourself. Give us a little bit of rundown. Where are you even right now? Looks like you're in an office somewhere.
Yeah, I'm in the back of the store. I'm at KushKlub, so I figured why not live stream this from the store. This is where I do all my work, in this corner here.
And what is your work? What do you do?
So, what don't I do is probably a better question.
There you go.
But yeah, KushKlub has been now 3.5-4 years in the making. Going from the legacy market. I don't like calling it the black market. I don't like negative connotations with the word black, but the legacy, I really like this new coined term. So the legacy market, and then moving over to the legitimate side of cannabis now that we live in one of the very few countries in the world that has decided to take the right step forward in legalizing cannabis. And we opened up on November 1st. We're right on Commercial Drive, right in the heart of East Van. We're between 1st and 2nd. So I want to give a shout out to, I guess, all the small businesses that are hurting right now. So around me, I'm kitty corner to Continental Coffee, Cafe Calabria to the side of me. There's Fratelli Bakeries that's now just reopening up after figuring out how to kind of navigate in this new COVID space. Give a shout out to Lala's, a boutique across the street from me. There's just, I'm right in the heart of like where small businesses do well, and they do well because, we're all trying to help each other out. It's generally been good times, but right now in this very strange new world that we're in, it's how do you reinvent yourself, and how do you make yourself relevant, and how do you get people to come and support your business in different avenues?
It's very true. I mean, the time we went down there, you were going to say something. Sorry, Miss Holiday.
No, I was just going to say, sorry, I missed. You said you've been doing it for 4 years. How long has that location been open now?
So we were open from the end of 2017 to October 8th, when cannabis was legalized. On October 17th, we closed in 2018. And then it took almost exactly a year to get it's a provincial license, but under the new federal regime.
So I heard that there was only probably about 5, like under 10 businesses that actually got to go like licensed and registered when cannabis went legal again. Yeah, what was
only one store when cannabis legalized in 2018? It was a government-owned store in Kamloops. It was the only store that was open on October 17th of 2018. And then in, I think, January, like end of December, right before New Year's of 2019, there was 2 other stores that were able to get their licenses. And then kind of very slow crawl to where we are now.
So what was the process that you kind of had to go to?
Oh my goodness. I mean, you know,
especially as a Black woman, it's not like, for real, let's be honest with each other. That's not a feat many.
I mean, like, you know, to be quite honest, it was one of the hardest things I've ever done. The licensing process, like I knew it would be difficult, and it can be very deteriorating, I think, when you see people who come from behind you and they come from like a corporate background, they come from getting a ton of equity money behind them, and they get to the front line before you. It can be very frustrating. It could be like, hey, I've never committed a crime. I've never even taken a 5-cent candy from 7-Eleven. Why are you not licensing me?
Is that true? 5 cent or maybe 1 cent? How about
not even. I goody 2 shoes to the extreme. I think if I ever took risks, it was definitely later on in my life. But the saying, like, and this is my favorite saying, is if something was easy, you know, everybody would be doing it. So knowing that it took like that much energy to get here and that much focus and that much strife, all I want now is to empower other people, and like, you know, you can do whatever you want, you can do whatever your heart is set on, and it might feel like you're climbing a mountain, but you know, you'll get there and you will peak. And then once you're there, bring the whole team, you know, like get them to wherever they're, you know, let them know that they have to work hard to be there with you, but bring them up. Like, I think this is where we can find our strengths as people of color, is, you know, having each other's back. Yeah, really though, it really is. Like, I don't like giving handouts, but I definitely will always give a hand up, always.
So
Jacobs are getting crazy out
there. Cops are coming for you, Dizzy, huh? Jesus Christ. Like, what is, guy, and you're on like the top floor. How is that so loud?
I don't know. So, I don't know. But let's, away from the sound.
Yes.
For you and also being, you know, where you come from, like we African people, we have like strict sort of backgrounds and whatnot. It's not like you were just, I don't take you for a person who just like got into the cannabis industry from the jump. Like, you must have been up to something before. And how was family and all that, you know, getting involved in this sort of thing for you?
Well, I come from a very conservative background. My family was not supportive in the beginning. I wouldn't say they were like, don't do this, but they were definitely like, how are you gonna leave? So I come from a financial background. I worked in a corporate environment. I worked 8 years at the Bank of Nova Scotia and did different things. Like I held different positions, and I left a very good, cushy job.
No pun intended.
But you know, you leave a lot of like luxuries, and that's like, so I would say in the last 5 years of my life, like there was definitely a lot of leaps of faith where, you know, you have your foot at the edge and you just jump. And that was one of them. Like that was the scariest thing, was like when I was sitting on top at a position that was great at the bank, that I was like, no, like, okay, time to pivot. It wasn't like a straight pivot into cannabis. I went traveling, I lived abroad, did a lot of things in like uncomfortable situations.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think all of that molds you for then trying to be an entrepreneur. I think when I run into people all the time that say to me, I want to be an entrepreneur, I'm like, okay, well, what have you done? You know, what are some of the other difficult things that you have accomplished in your life? And so once they're able to be like, okay, well, I took $100 in a backpack and I just left my house, I was like, dope. That's the type of, you know, that's the type of energy, that's the type of risk taking that you need to be an entrepreneur. You need to be completely ready to lose it all. Mm-hmm. Nothing is a sure thing. So, and I have no cannabis experience, by the way. I did not get into this because I'm an avid user. I got into this because I didn't like the perception that people of color are incarcerated for it, that are people that look like us and enjoy cannabis are the ones that have to do it in the gray market and not legitimately, can't go buy a house. I hate all of that. So I think the idea that society overwhelmingly tells us that we don't belong in this space makes me want to like show up and do really well in this space. Mm-hmm. So I'm here all the time. I'm consistently trying to grow this. I don't think it's one of those industries where people just like, it's cannabis. Cool. You just show up and, you know, you make money. It's not that. It's like any other business. It's if you owned a coffee shop, if you owned a, you know, Jamaican patty shop, it doesn't matter. You need to work hard. Mm-hmm. So, and I think there's a misconception that it's weed, and so they're like, everyone just buys it, it must be fine.
Yeah, no shit.
It's a business at the end of the day. You have to open up a shop, you have to hire people. During a pandemic, you got to get people out the house. Is it hard to get people to come to work? Is it hard?
Totally. I mean, I've talked to a couple other business owners and, you know, that decided to shutter during these times. Mm-hmm. And I think, like, to be honest, like to have honest conversations with people around you and say, like, listen, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say that being exposed at the store where you're consistently interacting with people, that there isn't a risk. There's absolutely a risk, but it's the same risk that, you know, and I hope that everybody's doing this, but the same risk that when you go to the grocery store or you go to the pharmacy or, you know, you're getting gas and that worker is at that place. Like, I hope everyone's going around and thanking these people. Like, every single person that is, you know, on the front lines and interacting with other humans, you are potentially putting yourself at risk. I had to go through employee files, make sure that nobody had an underlying risk. Like, are you a diabetic? Do you have asthma? Do you live with somebody that's diabetic, or do they, like, anything that, like, you know, you do your research, you treat people like people, you have honest conversations. Even like now, like, let's be honest, if you can get a CERB check, you can get 2 CERB checks, and that means, like, you got $4,000 last week and then your GST return. Like, why do you want to come work here? So I need to be able to offer something to people, and it's an idea. It's the idea that, and I'm looking for people. I want people to come work here, but I want people who want to work here because they want to do something greater than, I don't expect anyone to be a bud tender for life. I want you to come work here. Tell me what you want to work on in your life. Let's do some career development. Let's get you onto something bigger and badder. And then if you want to help me run the store and you're looking at a position here at KushKlub and you want to get into management or entrepreneurial, that stuff exists here too. So I think for any small business owner that's out there, I think that you have to create a culture. Because, you know, like, I get servers all the time. They're going to make more money serving, but you're also not going to get dudes trying to hit on you here. You're probably not going to get, like, where customers are upset. Generally speaking, people are very happy to come to KushKlub. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, like, you create an environment, you create a family, you treat your people like people. And I always have honest conversations. I'm like, you know, when the 6-month mark comes up, I'm like, what's the deal? What do you want to do? Or what's your plans?
Really, eh? You actually go at people and try and do a checkup on them and stuff, eh?
I don't understand a business owner who doesn't do that.
Exactly. I really, really, really agree with that method, because at the end of the day, exactly what you said, you're creating a certain environment that has a culture. You know, you're not treating it as if, like, each person is just a number, because in the place of I'm speaking from experience. When you're working in a place that has to do with cannabis, it's based off of feeling, you know what I mean? And so if you don't care about your people and the environment, how do you expect them to invest that same kind of like mutual energy, I feel?
Yeah, and I think for me, it's like every single boss that didn't treat me that way, like I'm doing this for that. I'm doing this to create that type of environment, and then that can just be mimicked anywhere. But I generally, when I see places, so I want to also give out another shout out. I mean, when this is on YouTube and everything, I'm going to tell these businesses that I gave them a shout out, but the Download Chicken down on Commercial Drive, I don't know if anyone had that fried chicken. It's legit. Yeah. But he does an amazing job down there. You know, he pays his staff like a living wage. They bust their butts though. Like they're spice in the eyes and like you're dirty, but man, he has like such a cool thing there. Like he feeds all his staff and you're grinding, and they got the like really good beats just bumping R&B, hip hop, and the people that have worked there, I'm like, so what's up? They're like, I love it here. They're like, I'm tired. When I go home, I can't do anything. I can't go for drinks, anything, or after whatever. But they're like, it is fun to work here. And I'm like, that's so dope. Like, I'm glad to see other small businesses trying to create that environment of keep your employees happy, let them work hard for you, and everybody wins.
True. Happy wife, happy life.
But employees.
But employees, yeah.
Family.
So selfish.
Yeah.
So, earlier I said you're literally like the most humblest person behind the scenes, being who you are, which is amazing, beautiful. It shows how we can navigate in this space without trying to be loud and abrasive. But not only that, like there's a lot of people you work with, Stolbiesisters, Roxy Rolla, I see all these people, Top Leaf. And before we get into stuff we came and picked up and whatnot, how has it, like, we wanted to talk, me and Alex and I wanted to talk about the DJ series that's been happening out here. And all of a sudden, KushKlub is like, it's a household name when it comes to this, which I appreciate a whole lot, because it was just a place where we were getting our items. And now it's like, the most humble lady is now in. How did you make that crossover? Like, how is...
So, I mean, I got to give a shout out to Floetic, Jason, and like the crew. So Hide and Seek and those guys, like they, like, you know, Jason is such a avid supporter. He's always like, you got to get your people, you got to have a crew and a family, and that's all just like aspire to get up to the top together. And always like, you know, with me, like so at first, like with Jason, where we started off was he used to be the in-house DJ. So I always have in-house DJs on Friday here at the store, and I try to work with somebody that like gets me. And then the other part is like to work with like somebody professional. So with Jason, I'm always like, okay, you're gonna show up every Friday at a certain time, and people are gonna know that there's good tunes on Friday. It's loud. And if he couldn't make it, he'd always get like another DJ in his collective. And it was such a great relationship, and we got to know each other. And I think he's like, where did you come from? I'm like, oh, I've always been here in Vancouver, but this is like, I'm an introvert by nature. I'm very quiet. So coming out, like, you know, on rumncokeradio or even anything in general, I'm trying to be a little bit more louder and prouder about it. And a lot of it comes from people like the Stolbiesisters and Natasia, you guys had from Black Women Connect a few weeks ago. Like, these are all people in my ear consistently. Like, I've known them all for less than under a year. And now it's like this like sisterhood of the, you know, traveling, you know, rah, like, you got this, like, you know, we're just consistently, like, anytime I see something like on, and this is like, you know, there's a lot of negative connotations to social media, but you focus on the positive and it is absolutely there. So I don't know if you guys follow on Black Women Connect, but Natasia has these beautiful images of beautiful Black women every single day. Just, it's how I start my day. And I remember just messaging her one day. I was like, thank you for curating this beautiful Instagram that I can just go to. The Stolbiesisters have the most amazing cannabis network. They know anybody and everybody. And, you know, you just gotta like, so they'll send me something going like, hey, you gotta grab this for the store. And anytime I meet a new licensed producer, I'm like, hey, do you guys need any activations? Do you guys need spokespeople? You got to check out the Stolbiesisters. And even just today, I was talking with an LP, and they were like, wow, thank you so much for that introduction. They're dope. They're so easy to work with. And I think that's the way that we elevate one another in this space. And so when this pandemic hit, it was maybe like early March. I got home, I was exhausted, but it was probably a night I would have gone out and had a drink with a friend. And I got home and I poured myself a glass, and I went onto Jason's Instagram, and him and Lupo were just like, they were playing online games, like, okay, like, you know, this or that. And if you like, it was basically a drinking game, and it worked though. I was having I'm like, this is so much fun. And then the next day I messaged him, I'm like, yo, that was dope. I couldn't go out like for my regular Friday night drinks, but alternatively that was what I needed. And he's like, okay, cool. He's like, we got a liquor sponsor, and he's like, I really want to shout you guys out. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like let's work together. Like maybe like I can stream you guys in the store, and then you guys can collectively just remind people nicely that KushKlub is still open. And it was just like the perfect arrangement. And then he had people that were looking to pick up, so it worked out beautifully. And I can't wait to take all these collaborations, and then once everything's back to normal, we can actually do some fun things together.
Yeah.
It's really amazing that we can even still during this quarantine time connect regardless.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to say on the live, we got the Stolbiesisters. Everybody you kind of mentioned are showing you so much love right now. We love you. We had them all on the show. Like you said, they were all on our show.
For presents. You know, like I'm humbled by this, and this is very kind, like all the love. But I think if you like, man, we're so in this together. Like I know everyone's saying that right now with COVID-19, but we really, really are in this together. And when you were here, Dizzy, the other day, that's like the one thing I said to you, and I'm not knocking anybody in the industry that's like this, but for me, like the whole like cannabis thing and like big gold chains and the lavish cars or like that lifestyle is cool. Like if that, like, you know, do you, but for me, that's not what it is. This to me is like something that I and whomever is around me can be successful in, to pivot onto other things. And my true passion has always been philanthropy, and I can't wait to like really focus on that. But I'm so good at this. I'm like, all right, this is where I'm living right now. This is what I'm going to do, this, scale this, grow this, have a great team in doing this. And then I would love to do more. But for me, it came naturally, the building of community. I see that all my neighbors are doing poorly. Like it's my responsibility to then go and buy coffee every single day at the coffee shop next to me. Like I need to support them as much as possible. My staff need to eat. Let me buy lunch from a different small business every single day. Wow. And I think all of that works hand in hand. And you know, I even like, and I don't do anything to get something in return, but you know, if at the end of this and everybody, like, you know, I'm hoping then like one day somebody's like, oh man, I need to pick up, wait, there's that girl from KushKlub, let me go check that out. And so
when I came down there, we talked, and you mentioned one of the people that inspire you, like Nipsey Hussle, and people were taking his words in kind of vain and not showing the philanthropy part that he was trying to portray in a message.
Oh my God, does that, like, that rubs me always the wrong way, only because Nip was so special to me. Like music was phenomenal. Victory Lap should have won Best Hip Hop Album of the Year.
Can we pause for a second? What did win Best Rap Album of the Year?
Oh my God,
Cardi B.
Last year?
No, was it Post Malone?
I think it was Post
Malone. Never mind.
It was Post Malone.
Yeah,
Cardi was
it was Post Malone.
That was a year.
I remember I was so upset that Post Malone won and he didn't even rap one lyric.
Yeah, we talked about this. Post Malone, we were pissed off.
One of my suppressed memories.
Yeah.
Dizzy loves bringing up negative news.
I know, right? Like he just, like, I'm just here chilling, loving the fucking interview, and this guy's out here trying to make me vex.
I'm just saying, that was not cool. You don't give a person, and he showed up on stage in cowboy hat, cowboy boots, snakeskin.
Guess what? We got him back. Lil Nas X.
So yeah, like, you know, Nip was somebody who always talked about, and I think this gets lost, but Nip always talks about he didn't sell drugs illegally because that's what he wanted to do. It was a means to an end for him. It was like, that's what I needed to do to get the money I needed to start my label. And even when he like sold out on the first label, like the first mixtape, he said, I needed that money to bail myself out of jail because I knew I was about to get locked up. And then he bailed himself out. And then everything else that he did, he always owned. Like it was his own thing. And it was always like, okay, I've accomplished this, on to the next thing. And he was like, the greatest thing to do is to inspire others. That was who he was. And I think that just gets so lost. And for me, when we lost Nip, I just was like, man, he was so ready to do so much more. And I don't think people, I don't know, when people are like, oh, I love Nip, marathon this, da da da, I'm always just like,
were you actually supporting the movement? Were you actually behind like the meditation or like the inspirational things that he really took the time to do? Or is it just because he had good music and everybody's riding on that wave?
Yeah, and you know, I mean, he was hard. So I think some people like, they rep that part, but I mean,
I don't know if it was hard. He was just real. Like he was
real, but I mean, like okay, what I mean, like he didn't want to believe that he was famous, like hence not walking around with a security guard. You know, he was just like, you know, like I'm one with the community. Like who would ever harm me? And I do think, like, I think there was a part of him that was like, I'm like, not like I'm untouchable, like in a cocky way, but
he should be untouchable.
Should have been.
He was a man with the people. He wasn't just like
yes. And then as an Eritrean woman, him coming from the same country that my family comes from, I think it was dope for us to see somebody become successful in North America and traverse like different elements of his life, and then go back to Eritrea and then spend time with kids and the community and the people there. Yeah, seeing that was, I think, for a lot of Eritreans,
so touching.
Yeah, like we're lucky that we feel a sense of culture and community back, but then here's Nip going back and going, like, everybody needs to go back. So that was dope.
That's dope.
I will definitely say that I hope to continue his legacy. That's one thing that I've promised myself, that I want to continue to inspire.
That is a definitely positive thing.
Dope.
I love that. Yo, before we keep moving, so we went down and grabbed a few things from the store. Miss Holiday has some jars with her as well. I've got my bag right here. I just wanted to give shout outs to everybody that first of all, shout out to you. Thank you very much. Letting us come by, have a conversation. I know I picked up all this stuff for the squad and whatever, but you know, I really appreciate the conversation and everything we had. But I do want to give a shout out to all these peeps, because this stuff, you know what I mean? Like,
you got some good
What's
stuff
in the goodie bag?
I'm very happy.
Okay, so let me
mine's coming in the mail.
We got Blue 98 from Riff.
Thank
you very much, Riff. Oh my gosh, we got an Edson Bite. This is a chocolate truffle.
Oh my gosh.
I know what I'm doing tomorrow.
Nothing.
Exactly.
We've got some Unite Organic, some Unite Bio right here.
Ooh.
And
what's that?
It is a indica. Ooh.
LA Confidential.
LA Confidential.
Okay.
Can I smell this? Can I smell this real quick for everybody? Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Listen, for everybody listening right now, you got to understand, the whole month of April is 420, and we're showing our love to 420 just like this. I know we're a rum place. We got our rum still. Shout out to all of you, Bacardi. Thank you very much for everything you've been holding us down for. You know what I mean? But we got to show a little love for 420.
Is it game time?
Oh, okay. I promise that if I lose at anything, I'll go take my shots later, because I can't take shots.
And make sure you tag us.
I'll tag you. Yeah.
Put it up.
All right, let's do it. You know what time it is. Game time.
All right, Miss Holiday.
Miss Holiday, unmute yourself.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I muted myself. My bad.
Yeah, I know. We told you.
Okay, so we like to play a little game called Pet Peeves, where you pretty much let our audience get to know you a little bit by saying 3 pet peeves. They can all be accurate and right, but one has to be the true answer, and
the most right.
The most right, yes. And so we have to go in a row and take a guess. Don't tell us. And if we get it right, you're gonna have to take the shot. And if we get it wrong, then you already know what it is.
I'm taking a shot regardless, so.
Yeah. So if you can think of 3 pet peeves, and don't let us know what the correct answer is until the end. Do I have to say them?
Yeah, pet peeve number 1.
You tell us the 3, and then we guess which one is like the most, like your biggest.
One by one, we'll guess.
All right.
So don't tell us the answer until Rae Diamendz has said hers.
Okay. All right. So 2 of them are work related, and then I couldn't think of another one. But like work related in that I'm a boss. Not that guy. Okay, so when I ask somebody like at work, I'll be like, "Oh, so what happened here?" Or like, "Who broke that?" And everyone just goes, "I don't know."
Oh,
I love that.
Shit.
I don't know. And then I'm just like, "Somebody tell me, and let's not do it again." But
nobody ever knows what happened.
No. And then the second thing I've written down is people who are late repetitively. Like it's just they can't even help themselves.
It's just rude.
Yeah, and then the last one that I've written down is stanky breath. It's like big. Like I think I broke up with somebody once over like
stank breath.
Yeah.
Damn, you show no mercy.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
How? Well, okay, that's vicious.
Like halitosis. Like he was halitosis.
Like I'm like, how don't you smell your own breath? Like I don't like.
Oh, there's nothing worse than like getting kissed upon and you smell their breath on.
Sometimes it's just like you're having a conversation with somebody and they're just like up in your grill and hot. Yeah.
Get your hot, moist breath off me.
Okay, let's guess, guys. Let's guess.
I'm gonna guess that your biggest pet peeve is people being repeatedly late all the time to set things. Picking that one. That's what I'm picking.
I'm gonna go with.
I would feel like Alex is late to everything.
But I'm not though. I think actually the opposite.
So you don't like it equally.
It's quite vexing when you do something every day at the same time for like years, and it's like, why are you still late? Like,
I think it's. What was the second one?
Late repetitive.
The second one was late. The first one was asking when somebody mashed up something and nobody knows what's wrong.
Playing dumb.
Playing dumb, repetitively, stinky breath.
I'm gonna go with the first one, playing dumb.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with the first, and the reason why, you have a store. I mean, I'm sure that happened. Plus, you worked in the financial area. People probably came at you like, I don't know, and you're like, come on. Anyways, let's go.
Miss Holiday.
I definitely feel that it's got to be the stinking breath. You know, especially having to deal with customers every single day on the front line, your employees, you know, you have to be that point of contact. Sorry, the house is a little hectic. You got to be that point of contact, and if you got stinky breath, like, ooh. That's my guess. Rae, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to go with being on time, because as you're a manager and I know how it is to be a third key holder, you know. Telling you my credentials.
Flexing.
But I would say lateness. Lateness is definitely annoying for any aspect, so that's what I'm gonna go with.
All right, what's the correct answer?
It's the playing dumb, the I don't know.
Oh, we were all wrong.
Dizzy got it.
Right?
Dizzy got it.
Oh, Dizzy.
Oh, Dizzy got it?
Yeah.
We're gonna let Rae play some music as long as she wants, cause fuck it. It's no time. So everybody knows what it is. Actually, shout out to everybody on IG Live that watches and comments and everything. Because you know what it is. rumncokeradio each and every Tuesday right here with myself, the short one. We got Dizzy D.
Hey.
We got Miss Holiday.
Yo.
Thank you again to Faven, KushKlub extraordinaire.
KushKlub.
Dropping that knowledge.
Dropping the knowledge and come
Yep.
through the month of April for your discounts.
Hey.
Wicked. All right, so we'll jump back in the mix with Rae Diamendz. Enjoy y'all's nights. See y'all next week. And stay safe and don't get that Rona.
Don't get the Rona.
Bye.
rumncokeradio.